Annette King.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Associate Minister for Social Development and Employment. Does she agree with the statement by Sir Peter Gluckman, Chief Science Advisor to the Prime Minister, in relation to the formation of policy in her portfolio delegations for family violence that, quote, policy formed without consideration of the most relevant knowledge available is far less likely to serve a nation well, end quote. If not, why not?
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
On behalf of the Associate Minister, yes.
The Honourable Annette
Mr
King.
Speaker, does she agree with Sir Peter's statement that ongoing evaluation is needed of policy decisions to gauge whether such policies and initiatives should be sustained or revised?
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, yes, in some respects that's what this government has been doing for the last 2.5, nearly 3 years. So really looking at those services that do work and sort of comparing that against them. I also agree with Sir Peter Gluckman in the same document where he states that one suspects that there are many government-funded programs now in place that, when properly assessed, will not meet objective tests of effectiveness. End quote. And so I'm just sort of saying effectively change is also needed.
The Honourable Annette King.
Did she know that the Te Rito Family Violence Fund and Program, which he has just scrapped, had been evaluated and was found to be fully embedded at a community level, synonymous with family violence prevention, invested in family strengths and capability, identified and supported families with needs, and to have increased the whole of family whānau focus? And if she did know, why did she scrap it, considering it meets the so-called goals and had been evaluated as working?
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, on behalf of the Associate Minister, yes, and if it's the review of Te Rito Phase 2 that was actually done in 2005, when we looked at that and actually looked at 2011, actually felt that it needed to be reviewed, and we needed to look at actually where that funding is going and if it's going most effectively to the front line. Those Te Rito providers can actually and have applied for that extra funding. More is going into family violence initiatives from this government, and that's indeed a positive thing.
The Honourable Annette, point of order, the Honourable Annette King.
I seek leave to table the review of the Te Rito Phase 2 Collaborative Community Family Violence Prevention Fund 2009, not 2005, the most up-to-date one.
Leavers sought to table that document. Is there any objection? There is no objection.
Supplementary question, Mr Speaker. Is she aware that the loss of Te Rito is more than the loss of funding? It is the loss of the networks, the name recognition, the investment into resources, the community support that was built up, and as one person put it, the network could not get a lot done without Te Rito funding. We just didn't have the time. The community network's buy-in now is huge.
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, on behalf of the Associate Minister, actually looking at the Te Rito funding, all of those applications have been accepted. They are going through a process. More money, in fact, the Minister of Social Development put an extra $2.8 million into these family violence initiatives that are coming out. So actually those may actually be enhanced. They may actually look better. I understand the scaremongering from the other side of the House, but actually that's all that it is.
Point of order.
Mr Speaker, I take exception to that comment.
Order. I apologise to the member. Order. Point of order has been called and it will be heard in silence. The Honourable Annette.
Take exception to the comment of scaremongering. I have used documents provided to me that aren't my documents.
The member, it was okay for her to object, but I don't want to carry on and debate the issue. I think the question asked was a reasonable question and didn't deserve to have that kind of comment. I'd ask the Minister to refrain from that where the question is a reasonable question.
Supplementary question, Mr Speaker. Why is it that Te Rito funding is being transferred to the Family Centred Service Fund to foster family and whānau wellbeing, but many agencies that now provide family violence programs under Te Rito have been told they do not fit the criteria to get the money, they will not be providing the services? So who will be, and when will these new services start?
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, because family violence doesn't actually happen in isolation. It happens within a family, it happens to more than one person, and actually the results need to come from within. So are we moving more to the frontline services? Is this government actually looking very carefully at what is and is not working and actually moving it in there? Yes, we are, and I'm extremely proud of it. More money is going into family violence services under this government.
The Honourable Annette King.
How does cutting over $300,000 from women's refuges remove funding from the back line or the front line? What it does is just remove the funding for a service to women and children in New Zealand.
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, on behalf of the Associate Minister, actually overall funding to refuges, both part of and separate from the collective, has increased by 43% over the last 4 years. And in addition, refuges other than the NCIWR have received more than $600,000 and more than $1 million from the Community Response Fund. And the collective themselves have also, on top of that, received more than $3 million from the CRF.
Question number 3, the Honourable Tauhenare.
Thank you.